Okay, so HLTV have sounded their yearly trumpets, unveiled the top 20 CSGO players of 2020, and, well, it's official. ZywOo was the best player in the world. Not Simple. The thing is, this past weekend, we saw Simple secure the first big tournament victory of 2021 and clap ZywOo along the way. Now, does that devalue HLTV's ranking? Of course not. Does it make what is already the best rivalry in esports that much spicier? Yes. Okay, so before we get on with the video, I just want to let you guys know that if you're interested in seeing more edgy CSGO don't at me's like this, please let me know in the comments, and of course, subscribe to the channel. Also, if you enable notifications, then you can see every single time a new video goes live. You may have also noticed that we are a little more than halfway to 2 million subs, and I'd really like to see us get to 2 million before, let's say, Simple ousts ZywOo for the #1 spot of 2021. Alright, back to the video. Okay, so for those who are unaware, every year for the better part of the last decade, HLTV has ranked the top 20 Counter-Strike players in the world, and every year the community awaits that list with bated breath. Why? Because it matters. It's numbers-driven, fiercely analytical, and given how long the tradition's been going on, quite prestigious. Only a handful of competitors have ever had the distinction of being an HLTV #1. Neo, GetRight, Coldzera, Simple, and that beautiful rosy-cheeked cherub that is a ZywOo. So what is it that makes ZywOo's back-to-back #1 finishes so redonkulously impressive? The fact that he isn't actually the GOAT. Though, he could have fooled me. See, for several years now, CSGO's de facto greatest of all time has been none other than Simple, the Ukrainian divinity who's pretty much cemented himself as the most famous professional first-person shooter player on the planet. And with good reason. Simple is, quite simply, the most impossibly talented player ever to touch the game. For years, he's regularly shown that he can do things that shouldn't be permissible by the laws of Counter-Strike. That he's somehow tamed, mastered, or just embodied the chaos that is CS.
The desperate play into B comes in. Smokes. You see double smokes in the same place there. Simple just jumping casually into the side. He's going to fall down again. What is this clutch from Simple? Are you serious? What is that? You can't do that, Simple. That's not allowed. This is not FPL. This is a major.
Simple, I don't know, man. If he just comes in with that, there's
It was a no-scope!
But I would say Simple is a pretty good example of someone who's very high on the quick-to-shoot skill. And actually, sometimes you see him with his crosshair placement not that great, where you think, well, why is he looking like this? Doesn't look like how you would want it to look considering he's the best player in the world.
By the end of 2018, Simple had secured his first ever HLTV #1, and the consensus was that despite not actually playing for the team who won the most, it wasn't even close. He was far and above the best player in the world, and in most people's opinions, in the history of CSGO.
Is he the best player ever to touch Counter-Strike?
Yeah, for sure.
I would say yes, I think so.
Ever to play CSGO? Yes.
He was the best AWPer, rifler, deagler. He could clutch, entry, strategize, and just generally counter any and all efforts to play CSGO against him. It took him a couple years, but lo and behold, Simple had solidified himself as pretty much the greatest to ever do it. For someone to come along and dethrone him out of nowhere? I mean, that just seemed impossible. And then ZywOo happened.
Kill coming in, Brawland steps up, 3 kills to Brawland, and Zai will eventually drop him on the floor, but it has to be the 1v4 clutch from ZywOo. Nid comes in, barely enough health to survive here on Brawland, but ZywOo wants to kill. There's the headshot, pulls it back, there's the ult, but ZywOo's got the triple. Crims is the last man standing, and there's time for the defuse. ZywOo wants to smoke the bomb. If you're Crims, you have to be scared, and ZywOo wins it. That is unbelievable from the young Frenchman.
Okay, so ZywOo's Spark notes are as follows. Born on the very day of Counter-Strike's retail release, this hyper-talented French prodigy is hailed for years to be the savior of the long-floundering French scene, and the so-called chosen one of CSGO. He makes his professional debut at the end of 2018, and by early 2019 is not only the star player of Team Vitality, but the only competitor in the world who everyone agrees is actually capable of rivaling Simple.
Anticipating Banana from the looks of it. Got more over here. It's going to be ZywOo that rings out first.
No way.
Second.
He's had enough.
He's going to keep going through it. He doesn't really care, does
There's
he?
4 here again. He wants the ball. Get him out of here.
He's the closer. Into his own hand is ZywOo.
It's like the universe saw how hard Simple was smurfing, got bored of watching him roll everyone, and spat out ZywOo just to spite him. What was it that made ZywOo so ridiculously absurd, you ask? Honestly, it's kind of hard to explain. He wasn't a wild card like Simple. On the contrary, he played cold, calculating, surgical CS. He just played it perfectly. It's like he's always 2 steps ahead of his opponents. Like his brain has wall hacks.
I don't know, he's just so annoying to play against. You know, like whenever he gets into a position where he has after plant and anywhere he is on any side, like it's always annoying.
I just feel like he's more well-rounded. I feel like Simple often kind of lets his teammates create space for him, but ZywOo creates his own space, and I think that's pretty impressive.
ZywOo, a lot of the time I see him, especially in high pressure situations, I see him, he's got obviously a lot of flick, but I do see him sometimes sort of reading the game at what looks to me like a slightly deeper level.
By the end of 2019, he'd edged out Simple to secure the top spot on the HLTV top 20. For a rookie to take down Sasha the Smasha in his first year of play, it was incredible, unthinkable. The fact that he was able to do it again in 2020 is just, I mean, the kid's a fucking unicorn.
Electronic looking for the cleanest finish. He's been turned on. ZywOo, no health really, but he's still hitting shots. He's already got 3 and 4 and 5 and oh my God, ZywOo! Unbelievable! Practically godlike.
Now, to be fair, Simple did hit back. Hard. In February of 2020, he led his roster, Na'Vi, to the most significant tournament victory of the year and put up one of the most staggering MVP performances of his life.
He needs a multi-kill, first found, Twist aggressing. They have to double peek, he's getting his shot, he's hitting another one! Simple! No! Simple! That's unbelievable! What in his name? Number 1 in the game, he's done it again!
And then, right as if it was looking as if Na'Vi were about to establish a dynasty, COVID happened. Thus began the so-called online era of Counter-Strike, one in which LANs were non-existent, up-and-comers were king, and Tier 1 rosters struggled to stay on their A-game. Unfortunately, Na'Vi fell off a cliff and remained coin flippy as hell for the rest of the year. Now, does all of this mean that ZywOo has somehow superseded Simple as the colloquially accepted greatest of all time? Personally, I think no, not even close. Not yet, at least. Simple spent years putting struggling rosters on his back and pulling off disgusting, unthinkable shit with little to no support. You can't just undo that in a year or 2. What's more, Simple could very easily have taken last year's top spot. Seriously, it was even more of a toss-up than in 2019. Unfortunately, fanboys such as myself had to watch as Na'Vi made a comeback at the end of 2020 only to get reverse swept in not 1, but 2 grand finals. Had they won even one of those events, especially the one they lost to ZywOo, the top 2 could have shaken out much differently. As for who's better right now, it's impossible to say. Just this weekend, we saw Simple slap ZywOo in the semis of Blast Premier, where he managed to spearhead his roster to a sorely needed tournament victory.
That's right, the Undertaker and his team, they get the better of every single challenger sent into that lower bracket.
Did Simple get up to his usual nutty antics, you ask? Bruh.
Simple on this passive angle down in secret on the right side of this peak. Glaive, oh my God, not ready for that one. Simple's gonna stick around with just the pistol. And then he goes back, second servings from Simple, no scope from Simple, and even further damage.
As for who actually emerges as the best player of 2021, who can say? What we do know is that Simple is keeping his nose to the grindstone since, well, he wants his goddamn spot back.
I'm not gonna relax. As I told before, I want to be on this level for so many years, and it's great. There are a lot of new players and players that can play really, really good, because that's exciting for me as well. I'm learning their game and I'm trying to see something new because it's my game.
All I know is that even as a die-hard Simple stan, I am here for this sick-ass Clash of the Titans-esque rivalry. Dare I say, not since Flash and Jadong has esports bore witness to two certifiable gods battling it out like this week after week, vying for ultimate supremacy. I, for one, can't wait to see how it pans out. I'm gonna start a church. You want to start my Church of Simple highlights, Devin?
The Church of Simple?
The Church of the Undertaker, Sasha the Smasha.
Could be like your right-hand alderman.
Yeah, let's fucking go. Let's fucking go, bro. You can. There's a. I think at one point I had a script. Someone cut it, but I had it. There's a tab. There's a tab on Pornhub that literally just says Simple's Deagle, and you can click that, and it's just highlight clips from FPL. Did Simple get up to his usual nuts antics, you ask? Bruh.